everyone, Tish Griffin here again with Family Credit Management Services. And I want you to remember Family Credit as your trusted resource. If you are having issues dealing with creditors, credit cards, if you are struggling just trying to figure out what bills to pay, establishing your budget and trying to even get a budget together, Family Credit Management is there. So you can contact a counselor at 800-994-3328 or reach out on the website familycredit.org. And I want you to use that as a resource because there's so many different tools on Family Credit's website to actually help you. If you are looking to start a budget and you don't know where to start, it's a perfect My Spending Plan budget guide to help you do just that. Then if you were looking to find out a little bit more about finances or the proper way to handle different things, your debts, dealing with collection agencies, there's a guide there. Personal Finance Made Easy, which you can get. You can download a copy online or you can contact Family Credit and get as many copies as you need mailed out to you. That's right. Use it as a resource. Now, this is a new year. We're going through a lot of different changes, but we want to make sure that we are financially sound and financially fit. And that goes a long ways. That really does help. Now, I've had some requests, so we want to tackle a couple of different things today in our show. Again, reach out if you need help at 800-994-3328. A lot of people have been asking about credit, and a lot of people, have businesses or they have a hobby or they're trying to start a business. And so today's topic, we're going to talk just a little bit about business credit and establishing credit and how it all relates and establishing your business. So if you've got a small business or you want to get your small business off the ground, of course, there's a structure that you have to follow to make sure that you are legit, especially with the Corporate Transparency Act that's coming about in 2025. You want to be ahead of the game, know what you're getting yourselves into. And all of this wraps up into each other, be it our personal finances, our business finances, the income that we have coming in. It all helps create our financial picture and make sure that our financial future is set. And that's what we want. I always say, if you are thinking about your finances, a lot of us, we don't want to work for the rest of our lives, right? So it's important that we keep an eye on how much we make. And if you feel that you cannot make it in your budget, the only things that you can do are decrease your debt or increase your income. No two ways about it. That's the only things that you can do. So if you are looking to start your own business as a way to increase your income, I commend you. Yes, that is such a great thing. But it takes time. So I want you to know that. If you are looking to start your business, once you get it off the ground and you've got it legal, first it takes a couple of months to even get it that far. Again, you've got to register, you've got to make sure that you are legal and compliant, know whatever direction that you're headed in. You need to know if there are any requirements that the state places or that are federally required for that sort of business. Some people will just say, hey, I know, let's see, I'm a good hairdresser. I like doing hair, so I'm just going to do that on the side too and just bring in that money. Whatever your business is, whatever you're set out to do, it's always best to investigate what happens if I make this a full business and how can I do just that. Great place for you to start is going to the Small Business Association's website, the SBA. Now, I am telling you this because there are a lot of different resources that people don't even know about. There are different grants out there. You can see how you can apply for government contracts using the Small Business Association's website. They have different grants for different types of ethnicities, women-owned. Whatever you're looking for, there may be some resources there that you can actually use. And if you are looking for a mentor as you start your business, yes, you can go there and see other resources that are available for you. First thing that people do though is say, hey, I want a business because my credit is bad and I want to put things in my business name. And I want to be able to buy things in my business name. Yes, you can do that. But keep in mind, there's a process of going through that. First, you've got to have that legit business. And then you need to make sure that you're bringing in income. And that does not mean, oh, I bring in like $20, $40 a month. No, you've got to bring in income, because now this business income is based on whatever you are able to bring in. And of course, we've got to see what expenses are needed to get that business going. So just like your business has income and expenses. So you want to make sure that you're keeping track of those. Now, when you start off, there may not be that many expenses, but there are startup costs that are involved when you are starting a business. It has to do with the amount that's needed, structuring your business. Now you have to take into account marketing and making sure that you have a solid business plan as well. So yes, the SBA is there and available, and we can probably go over some other tips as well. When you're thinking about establishing your credit though, a lot of times business credit is totally different from your regular credit. Now with us, our credit, we know to go to TransUnion, Experian, Equifax. Business credit is done a little bit differently, because first, in order for the business to have credit, it has to have income and proven income for at least a couple of years, meaning that you need to have a bank account. So just because you've had an LLC for a couple of years, if you don't have any income coming in and you don't have a bank account, then you are not going to get business credit. You've got to work it. You've got to really work towards it. It may take you 2 to 3 years to actually establish business credit, because there is a step and a process for it. Now, when you think about it, there's 2 different sides to your business credit. Yes, you've got the business itself and how it stands alone, but you also have your credit too. Being a small business owner, most of the time, you will be responsible for whatever credit you are trying to get until you get to the point where you don't have to anymore. And a lot of applications will ask you to become what's called a personal guarantor, meaning that even though we know you have a business, if something goes wrong and we're not receiving payments, we can come after you. So when you're signing those applications, when you're looking for credit, you want to make sure that you're doing it the right way, especially if you're looking to establish that business, because now guess what? Your personal credit is taken into account. If you need help with that, of course, you can go talk to a counselor at familycredit.org or call 800-994-3328, because credit's important. And so now you might need to sit down and look at your credit and look at your credit score, because to become a personal guarantor for a business, you need a really decent score. You won't be able to do that if your score is like 400 or 500. We're talking about if we can help get your score to a 700, that's what you need to do. What steps do you need to take? Because in order for you to establish that business credit, of course, you need that income coming in, and you need proof that your business can generate that income in order for you to even get credit. So in the meantime, anything that you get, you will be held responsible for until you can prove that, yes, my business has been around. Now, a lot of companies, they don't look as closely, or they are more likely to give or grant you credit if you can prove that your business has been in existence for about 5 years or so. Sometimes they'll let it go for maybe 2 or 3, but that means that you have to prove that income. The way that you prove that income, filing your taxes. And here again, this is where that EIN number that you received when you got your LLC going comes into play. This is where it's important. If you have income, it should show on either your personal tax return, depending on how your business is set up, or your business needs to have its own separate return filed. Again, depending on which structure, because there are a couple of different forms for each structure, be it a corporation, S Corp, B Corp, or an LLC. But the way to prove your income, what the IRS knows, meaning you've got to file your tax returns, and you need to do it for at least 2 years. Now, keep in mind, if you've got a lot of expenses and you're showing a lot of expenses and overhead for that business, that means the less income you actually will show or will have. And that is reflected when you file your taxes for with the IRS. So if you have a business that's generated $100,000 worth of income, but your expenses are $110,000 worth of income, I'm sorry, your expenses are $110,000 worth of liabilities, you have not made any money on your return. So when you go to apply for business credit, your business looks like not only do you not bring any income, but your income is showing as a negative number too. That's why it's important to get that help out there. And you want to make sure you're keeping track of everything, keeping track of your expenses and your income, knowing what can be written off. Talk to an accountant that you feel can help you, or a tax professional. You want to make sure that that they know your business, that they've done returns for people in that same industry as you. Yes, this is your livelihood, so you want to make sure you are protected. So again, that's going to take a couple of years to establish that, and that you have that income coming in. The same time, guess what? You need a bank account. You want to make sure that it is a business bank account and you're not mixing in funds from your personal life into this. And I understand you may have the income coming in and you're paying yourself from it. Now, you can figure out how often you want to pay yourself, but it's best that you see what's the best way for you to pay yourself. Should you be your own employee? Should you do it differently? Should you just say, this is the amount that I'm allocated, and have your tax professional help set that up to flow as well? Now, there's so many tools out there. Sometimes you say, yes, I can do it myself too, but make sure that if you need the help, if you need a second opinion, you know who to reach out to. And guess what? There's a lot of different services out there that you can get that help to. If you're struggling to figure out how to set up your business or your tax structure, you can reach out to your taxpayer advocate. Same people that help you set up everything or find everything out about your taxes. You can call the IRS directly and ask them information as well, because everyone wants to see that you're doing this right. So after you get filed your tax returns for a couple of years, you got that business checking account. You may even have a business savings account that's earning a great return, or you're having things set up with your business. Now you're able to start applying for certain types of credit. When you first start out, a lot of people do what's called vendor credit, okay? But keep in mind, let's take a step back just a little bit. Before you do this, you do need to get what's called a lot of businesses get their DUNS number. And you can do this by applying for your Dun & Bradstreet number. And a great resource for that, you can go to nav.com, NAV.com, if you're looking to set up your business, making sure that you're getting your credit together, and realizing it will take time. You don't have to pay anyone to do it. You can do it yourself. But let's get these steps together first. You got your business together. You got your structure together. You're starting to file your income. You're looking and making sure whatever your payroll is set up, that looks great, and you've gotten your checking and your savings account together. Now you want to look at getting vendor credit. Now with vendor credit, a lot of times people may look at different places like where you can order supplies from. A lot of times people will go to Uline or different places first to just get that little credit line, because they're going to be reporting to the business credit reporting agencies. And a couple of those that keep track of that, of course, is your Dun & Bradstreet credit report. The Equifax has their business report, Experian their business report. So there are different reports that keep track of this information. Your scoring is totally different from your credit report. We know that your own personal credit report looks at a range of 300 to 850. Well, guess what? Your credit report for your business accounts, they have a range up to 100. And the higher the score, the better. So when you're starting off, you may have a score as low as 30. You may have a small score. But as you're building, you want to get to 100 so that you have the high number and over where you are available to get other types of credit. So we start with those little vendor accounts, such as Uline that we were talking about. And what happens is you may order some supplies, you'll get your supply together, you'll make your payment for a couple of months, and they will report that progress. After you've done that a couple of times, you've built up that business credit just a little bit, you should start seeing your numbers go up. Again, it takes time. Then you may want to look at a store account. Now with the store credit accounts, depending on what industry you're in, it could be if you're a builder, maybe a Home Depot, or if you are a hairstylist, a corporate account with Sally's, something like that. You want to make sure that whatever direction you're headed in, that those creditors that you're using to get your supplies, that they can also report your activity. And you want to make sure you're keeping your activity positive as well. Making sure that when those invoices come in, you're paying them, you're on top of it. Because just like your regular credit report, this affects it too. You don't want that score to fall after you started building it up so much. Then you may want to look at getting fleet credit. With fleet credit, it could be used to, for gas purchases or different entities like that. So with fleet credit, that's moving you up a little bit more, then you'll be able to get regular cash credit as a business. Again, this process could range anywhere from 1 to 4 years, depending on how much income you're able to bring in, how well you track your expenses, and also just making sure that everything is on track, that you are licensed, that you are in good standings with the state. These are things that you want to think about, and making sure that your own personal credit is together. That's number one. We always want to make sure that we're together first as well. So what does that mean? Making sure that you're taking a look at your TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian Bureau. That's right. If you're setting up this business, your credit is still as important as your business's credit. So while you're working on keeping things together for your business, it's important for you to focus on you too. Be sure that you set up reminders throughout the year that will remind you, hey, it's time for me to take a look at my credit report. You can go directly to annualcreditreport.com or directly to the credit bureaus, Equifax, TransUnion, and Experian themselves. Now, a lot of times with you being a personal guarantor on certain business accounts, they may or may not report to your actual credit report. That is something that you also need to ask, and you need to find out every time you get a new offer or you're thinking about getting an account. And a lot of times, the best place for you to start is your own bank. Wherever you're doing your small business lending from, if you're looking at your small business checking, you have a checking account, a business account through your bank, see what they offer for small businesses as well, because they are also a resource when you're trying to build up your business. They want not only for you to come to them for just regular checking, savings accounts, buying an auto, they want you to be able to support your business by using their services as well. So they may have different loans available to business owners depending on the amounts of time you've been in business. They may have different perks or different tools available as well. Let's say if you need to post payments, or you need to someone needs to electronically send you a payment for your invoices. They may even have invoicing systems as well. So make sure you're doing your research with them and seeing what options are available. Again, business credit is a lot like personal credit. You've got to keep everything together. You've got to know what's going on. It's not something that once you've got this business going, now you're just magic. You don't have to worry about it. No, you have to make sure that no one can get into your personal information as well as your business. You want to make sure you have the right structure, you're set up, and you have legal counsel and representation, and whatever insurance policies or bonds that will help keep you legit and stress-free as well. Things that you want to consider, it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Your business, even if you're bringing in income, you want to make sure that that structure is together as well, because you don't want to get in trouble. You don't want something to happen. And even like we talked about before with the Corporate Transparency Act coming up, if you're not paying attention to those changes in the industry and with the state legislation and the federal, if you're not paying attention, you may become subject to a fine that you can't really cover. $500 a day is a lot of money for a business, a small business that's just starting. And don't think you'll just be able to start over. It can be done, but it's hard. So it's better to make sure that you're on track, that you're doing things legitly, and that you have things together. Again, making sure your structure's in place. You want to make sure that you've got your accounts together. And the best part, you want to make sure that your own personal credit is together. That's right. Visit TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, and make sure you're keeping an eye on your report. Now, I know this is a lot. So if you go and you pull your reports and you need help understanding it, that's what counselors are on standby to do. You can reach out to a counselor at Family Credit by going to the website, familycredit.org, or calling 800-994-3328 and getting some advice or help trying to figure out what this report means, going over it with you. Yes, they can go over that with you. They can help you set up arrangements with different creditors and help you determine what's needed for your score to be stronger. That's the best part. You're not alone. Use Family Credit as a resource. Now, we've talked about a few other resources as well, which when you're setting up your LLC, your S Corp, whatever entity, you could be a sole proprietor and want to do it all yourself. That's fine too. But make sure you go to the IRS's website at irs.gov and look for your EIN. On that website, there is a lot of great information for business owners too. So if you're looking to structure your business, there's some tools there that will definitely help you. Also, use the Small Business Association, SBA.gov, as a way for you to see what's available in your area, if there are any grants available, how to get government contracting, these things that we've talked about establishing credit today. There's a lot of tools on the SBA's website as well. And if you're looking for a mentor, there's resources there on SCORE, which just retire business owners that help others as well. So you can find somebody in your industry and you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it. They're retired. They have a lot of information, a wealth of knowledge that's available to you and you can get for free. And then look at other resources too. Contact your local representation within your city, state, town, whatever your visitors bureau. A lot of times they have information on establishing businesses in that area and if anyone's doing anything in your community around them. So their way, if there's some grants there that are available to help you set up your business, you can find out about it. If you're looking for budgeting, again, go to familycredit.org, pull down the My Spending Plan and get your budget going because yes, there's a way for you to become successful with this business, but it starts with making sure you take responsibility and the right actions to structure your business correctly so that you can enjoy the rewards later. If you got any questions, reach out, familycredit.org, or call a counselor at 800-994-3328. Looking forward to seeing you soon. Take care.